Vice Admiral Nathaniel Nate Parker had never once mistaken rank for invincibility. Yet, nothing in his 34 years of naval service nor the 3 gold stars stitched to either collar of his dress coat had prepared him for the moment. A young white sergeant pressed cold steel around his wrists in the echoing pressed depths of Seattle-Tacoma International Airport's parking structure. He had flown in from Yokosuka on a gray, drizzling Tuesday, having chaired a hush-hush Indo-Pacific Security Summit aboard a Japanese carrier. No entourage followed him through customs. Parker traveled light, believing an officer's gravitas should live in posture, not spectacle. Beside him strode Captain Emily Chen, his 41-year-old chief of staff, a kinetic whirlwind of checklists and quiet loyalty. The pair bantered about jet lag and the Mariners' playoff odds until the terminal's fluorescence surrendered to the dim sodium glow of Garage C. Transportation Command had booked a black electric SUV to ferry Parker to Bremerton, but its driver was late, and the wind off Puget Sound cut sideways through concrete. Parker planted himself near a support pillar, adjusting his flat cap, while Chen refreshed the ride tracker on her phone. A family lumbered by with Disney backpacks. A baggage cart beeped in reverse. Otherwise, the level was bone. Still. From the far ramp emerged 3 officers in tactical jackets, part of the Port of Seattle's Interagency Enforcement Detail. Sergeant Amy Whitaker led, blonde ponytail bobbing. Beside her was Officer Kyle Bennett, broad-shouldered and fresh out of patrol. Astride behind, Officer Devin Frost, a white woman whose jaw set hard whenever Whitaker spoke. None displayed shields openly, a habit Parker disliked, but resisted challenging. Whitaker's voice snapped through the damp air. "Sir, hands where we can see them." Chen's brow creased. "Is there a problem?" Bennett lifted his radio mic but did not key it. "We have a bolo on a black male, mid-50s, dark coat, suspected courier for contraband electronics. That description fits." Parker's calm was submarine deep. "I am Vice Admiral Nathaniel Parker, U.S. Navy. You'll find my orders in the breast pocket you're currently eyeing." He extended 2 fingers toward the documents. "May I?" Whitaker's gloved hand hovered near her holster. "Identification after detainment. Place both hands against the pillar." Chen bristled. "Sergeant, your timeline's off. U.S. Transcom logged his arrival." "Back up, ma'am," Frost barked, interfering with seizure of a suspect. Parker weighed options at command speed. De-escalate first. Preserve chain of custody. Second. "Captain Chen," he said, voice so level it made Bennett flinch. "Initiate Protocol Indigo." Chen's pupils widened. No one in Whitaker's trio seemed to grasp the gravity of those 2 words. Chen stepped away, thumb already dancing across a hardened phone that lived below her blazer hammer redundancy for moments exactly like this. Whitaker moved in. "Suspect reaching!" Before Parker could finish turning his palms out, Bennett's cuffs clicked. Steel bit flesh. His cap toppled, revealing cropped salt and pepper hair. Frost scooped the Admiral's encrypted device from the pavement as though it were contraband candy. No Miranda, no call-in, no verification. In Maryland, a fail-safe server registered that Parker's device had gone dark inside a U.S. airport less than 8 minutes after touchdown. Automated scripts traced travel orders, cross-matched them against airport CTV, and spat a crimson flag straight to the Navy Operations Center. Back on P3, Whitaker radioed half-heartedly. "Detained male, civilian clothes, no resistance, awaiting unit van." Bennett smirked. "If he's Navy, where's the uniform?" Parker inhaled through his nose, steady as sonar. "Sergeant, that phone houses nuclear readiness codes for 7th Fleet assets. You are currently compromising them." "Nice story," Bennett said, though uncertainty crept across his eyes. Whitaker pivoted as 2 black sedans rolled down the ramp department of the Navy, plates glinting. Lieutenant Commander Marisol Reyes stepped out first, khaki uniform crisp, followed by a civilian in a slate suit whose badge read Inspector Shelby Grant, Office of Naval Intelligence. Their footfalls echoed like gavels. "Officers, disengage your detainee," Grant ordered. No raised voice, just the lethality of absolute jurisdiction. Whitaker's Adam's apple bobbed. "With respect, ma'am, this individual is Vice Admiral Nathaniel Parker, Ray's finished. Your body cams are streaming to NWDC. Remove those cuffs on film. Bennett's hands shook as he unlocked Parker. The Admiral flexed his wrists, but gave no glare, no triumphant quip, only that submarine calm, which unsettled Bennett more than rage. Chen reappeared, Oni liaisons in tow, having triggered Indigo, a cascading alert that forced every Port Authority device to ping the moment Parker's name hit any local system. Whitaker, Bennett, and Frost were ordered to remain beside an orange traffic cone until further notice. By sunset, Interior Affairs investigators from D.C. had commandeered a SeaTac conference room. Bodycam frames were dissected, radio logs subpoenaed. Whitaker's team read administrative leave paperwork they'd never expected to see. News broke before the moon cleared the Cascades. Decorated Black Admiral wrongfully detained at SeaTac. A local blogger clipped Bennett snide. Where's the uniform? Line. Within hours. Uniform enough trended worldwide. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your thoughts in the comments box. Parker, meanwhile, refused media. He spent 9 quiet hours inside Naval Base Kitsap reviewing submarine maintenance slides. When Chen offered a television remote, he declined. Let the footage speak. Yet the story metastasized. Reporters surfaced prior complaints. Bennett had once cuffed a black software engineer outside Amazon headquarters. OPS logs showed Whitaker's traffic stops skewed 82% minority drivers, despite King County's demographics. Frost's file bore no formal stains, but leaked group chat screenshots revealed a penchant for mocking paper rank warriors, those who earned authority through intellect rather than brute force. Public fury crescendoed when Seattle's mayor waffled on condemnation, citing the stressful ambiguity of law enforcement work. 48 hours later, a retired white rear admiral, Ed Lawson, went on cable news and growled, "Ambiguity ends when an officer says, 'I'm a vice admiral and here are my orders.' Anything past that is arrogance or prejudice." Viewers clipped the soundbite. Network Chiron lights blinked crimson. Congress smelled blood. The House Subcommittee on National Security scheduled an open hearing. Chairwoman Lila Watts, a black representative from Georgia, demanded Admiral Parker's testimony. Senate Armed Services hinted at joint sessions if local accountability stalled. Whitaker's union scrambled. Depositions, spin statements, whispers that Parker escalated by withholding ID. But the uncut footage revealed the Admiral offering ID twice. The union's talking points died in draft folders. Inside Naval Station Everett's windowless conference hall, Parker composed a written statement with Chen. No flourish, no vengeance, just chronology. Numbers. Calm indictment. One paragraph read, "Authority is meaningless when recognition relies on skin tone or wardrobe. Respect given only to expectation is not respect at all. It is hierarchy masquerading as security." The morning of the hearing, rain lacquered Capitol steps. Parker arrived in full-dress white gold aiguillettes, Navy Cross ribbon gleaming. Photographers inhaled. In the marble room, he sat upright, hands folded, face as impassive as the sea at dawn. Chairwoman Watts opened. "Admiral, some argue this was procedural mis-ID. Your response?" Parker's basso voice floated steady. "Procedural errors end when identification is offered and verified. What persisted after that was assumption. Assumption that a black man in civilian clothes could not possibly wield command authority." Representative Victor Hollings, a white moderate from Ohio, cleared his throat. "Admiral, do you believe race was the primary factor?" "Race," Parker answered, "was the filter through which all other factors were interpreted. My age, coat, silence each was reweighted by a bias neither I nor protocol could offset." Gasps rippled when video screens replayed Bennett's uniform comment for the committee, subtitles ablaze. Watts leaned into her mic. "And had you been an ensign, or a civilian contractor, or simply a private citizen, what then?" "I suspect," Parker said, "I would have remained handcuffed long past my rights." An audible hush. The hearing recessed. Outside, protesters hoisted signs. "Salute the stars, not the skin. Authority recognized, not assigned." Under pressure, Port of Seattle police fired Whitaker, Bennett, and Frost for unlawful detention and procedural misconduct. Whitaker filed appeal. Bennett vanished from public view. Frost resigned before termination, citing media vilification. Yet the story's oxygen remained. University criminal justice programs inserted the SeaTac incident into curricula on implicit bias. Police academies in Oregon and British Columbia added mandatory case study debriefs. An indie filmmaker pitched Uniform Enough to streaming giants. Parker stayed mission-focused. He inspected littoral combat construction, hosted war game briefings, rarely mentioning Seattle. But ripple effects reached his inbox nightly notes from junior sailors, teachers, even a white Iowa farmer who wrote, "Sir, your restraint taught my teenage sons more about command than any war movie." 3 weeks post-hearing, Chen requested personal leave. She flew to Nashville, confronted her estranged father. A retired policeman screened the body cam footage at his kitchen table. He wept, saying he once cuffed a black dentist in 1993 because no dentist drove a Buick that good. The confession stunned Chen, but she realized the Seattle echoes reverberated backward through years. In Olympia, Governor Sinclair announced Project Semaphore, pairing civilian auditors with every state task force operation. Critics cried overreach. Sinclair replied, "Trust thrives under scrutiny." Still, one question haunted talk shows. How had 3 officers ignored the simplest verification? The answer surfaced courtesy of an anonymous TIPA training slide deck used by Whitaker's unit. One slide displayed silhouettes of likely courier profiles, hoodie, oversized luggage, military-adjacent fashion. The silhouettes only shaded features. Dark skin. Public fury reignited. The designer of the deck, a private contractor, claimed ignorance of optics. His firm lost a federal bid overnight. Meanwhile, Bennett, adrift and angry, uploaded a 30-minute video. "I'm not racist. Parker played the system." Views soared, but comments skewered him. He deleted the clip within a day, yet not before Navy Times archived it, captioning, "Dismissal without remorse." When Parker finally agreed to interview a long-form podcast hosted by Pulitzer winner Zara Ruhana, listeners expected rage. Instead, the Admiral spoke of systems. "Bias is like barnacles on a hull. You scrape them, paint over them, but leave the ship idle long enough and they'll grow back. The answer isn't one cleaning, it's constant vigilance." Ruhani asked, "Do you feel vindicated?" Parker paused. Vindication implies a personal quest. Leadership isn't about self. I feel obligated, not vindicated. Months later, winter fog rolled across Bremerton when Parker returned from night inspections and found Chen waiting on the pier with an unmarked envelope. Inside lay an invitation. Deliver the commencement address at the Naval Academy, first black male vice admiral to do so in 41 years. On a bright May morning, he stood before 800 midshipmen in white covers. His speech skipped platitudes about oceans and valor. Instead, he told Seattle's story, stripped of drama, layered with challenge. "You will enter towns where no one salutes you," he said, voice carrying beyond the parade ground. "Your presence alone won't command respect. Your actions will. Yet never forget respect travels both directions. If you grant it only to those who look the part, you sabotage the very oath you swear today." Silence canyoned across Bancroft Hall courtyard. Then applause rose slow, determined, until it rolled like surf. That night, while cadets celebrated, Parker walked alone along the Severn River seawall. The moon silvered the water. He removed his cap, tracing the cuff scars still faintly pink on his wrists. He thought of Whitaker staring at the traffic cone, of Chen confronting history in Nashville, of barnacles on hulls. A gull cried overhead. Parker exhaled, not in relief, but resolve, a submariner's breath, measured and unyielding. The tide kept flowing. The ship would need scraping again, and again, and again. But somewhere beneath the moonlit current, the barnacles were one layer thinner, and the keel for now ran true.